The best of Money Matters. Right Business.
Welcome to The Right Business, where we dive deep into the stories of trailblazers who dare to disrupt the status quo, find the gap in the market to find the right business. Hello, I'm Hongbin Jeong. Singapore's pet market is booming, but behind the wagging tails and adorable puppy pics, there's a deeper conversation happening about ethics, transparency, and health. Our next guest founded PupUp, a startup looking to tackle the often murky world of puppy sourcing with heart, tech, and a strong sense of responsibility. Inspired by her own experience with preventable health issues in her dog, Megan set out to change the way families welcome a puppy home. PupUp connects families directly with ethical breeders abroad, ensuring transparency, strict health standards, and a full support system that lasts long after the puppy arrives. From vet partnerships to secure payment systems and breed-specific health milestones, PupUp is disrupting an industry that badly needs it. And joining us today to share more is Megan Tan, who is the CEO and founder of PupUp. Megan, welcome to the show.
Hi, Hongbin. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
It's awesome to be chatting with you today.
Thank you so much for joining me. Well, Megan, let's start with your personal story here. I understand PupUp was inspired by something that happened with your own dog. What was that experience like, and how did it lead you to create this business?
Yeah, so like many others, I found my dog from an advertisement on Facebook. Ever since the day I brought him home, I've watched him struggle with all sorts of health issues, and they never really seem to stop coming. Beyond the financial impact of having to tend to his health issues, I think what really struck me was the emotional impact of watching your dog suffer again and again. And unfortunately, a lot of families in Singapore actually face similar challenges with preventable health issues and the huge uncertainty of what may lie in the future. So really, I saw two paths forward. One was to sit on the sidelines and continue watching families around me go through the same heartbreak, or to step up and do the right thing by these puppies.
All right. Well, my next question might stir up a debate here. So why did you only focus on pet dogs and not include cats? I mean, cats are also a very common household pet here.
No, absolutely. I've actually gotten this question a lot, but I'm not sure I'm the best at answering it. Well, let's put it this way, I'm a dog person. Like the whole inspiration and kind of motivation behind PupUp was through my experience with Chorizo and seeing him suffer again and again. So I think beyond just a business, this is a deeply personal mission to me. That being said, cats aren't out of the question for us in the future, but for now, dogs have our full attention.
All right, makes sense. Well, Singapore's pet market is growing fast, but you've mentioned there are real challenges when it comes to how families find and bring home a puppy. What were the biggest problems you saw, and why are these challenges so common in Singapore's pet market?
Yeah, absolutely, Hongbin. Unfortunately, the challenges in our pet acquisition market are deeply systemic. So unlike countries like the UK, Australia, New Zealand, where they have very established breeding communities and robust governing bodies that kind of set a framework that breeders have to follow, Singapore struggles with very fragmented regulations when it comes to what is ethical breeding, and a huge oversight of breeders and their facilities, and on top of that, a heavy reliance on puppy imports. So all these challenges really make for the perfect storm, right? You've got this lack of local breeding expertise that leads to a heavy reliance on imports. And when you import puppies, there's a lack of transparency as to where they come from, their background. And that, in turn, leads to preventable health issues that puppies may have that causes more heartbreak with families. Yeah. In fact, in 2024, 19 out of the 22 licensed breeding facilities in Singapore were found to have breached rules.
Okay.
So this really isn't just a few bad apples. It's a very fundamental issue in the industry.
Right. Well, for some background context here, I'm sure some of our listeners aren't aware about, some of the ethical problems. What are the common, things that these breeders hide when it comes to transparency?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, when we talk about puppies and breeding dogs, we always look at health. So even with every single breed on PupUp, there are specific health tests that breeders have to do before we onboard them onto the platform. And in fact, when we talk about the imports of puppies, frequently these are not really requirements that are set in Singapore when you import puppies. We do not look at specific health tests like hip scores, like, heart conditions when we look at a puppy. So I think first and foremost, really what we're tackling is the health first approach on PupUp.
All right. So how do you envision PupUp to plug this particular gap in the pet market?
Yeah, I think the way we see it is really through a three-pronged approach. Connect, health first, and journey. So for the first time ever, we've bridged this gap between breeder and owner. Singaporeans can now directly connect with these registered breeders who have decades of experience in breeding. And of course, with the health part, we have really front-loaded this health testing part and ensure that every single breeder on PupUp has to meet our basic requirements before we even consider them to be onboarded onto the platform. But I think the most important part is that our support system extends far beyond acquisition. I think when you welcome a puppy home, it is just the beginning of, your dog ownership journey, and something that we're quite proud of PupUp for is the support system that we will provide owners for the entirety of their dog's life.
I mean, it sounds like you have a very intense screening process here. So if you could tell us some of the criterias the breeders have to meet?
Yeah, we've actually met many breeders personally, as we're very much on the ground, meeting breeders, inspecting their facilities, and on top of that, learning more from them about the work that they put into bettering their breeding programs. I think the most rigorous part of our verification process would be the breed-specific health testing that I have talked about. So every single breed has specific set of health tests that we require breeders to achieve before they are onboarded into the platform. And more than just saying, yes, I've done it, we actually do go into the documentation and review that they have actually done these tests before we onboard them onto the platform. So I think this multi-layered approach really is more than just about ticking boxes, but more so providing families with a peace of mind and knowing that, they won't be caught off guard because we've done the legwork for them.
Right. Well, it looks like PupUp works exclusively with breeders in Australia and New Zealand. Why those particular regions?
Yeah, I think many of the breeds that are popular and suitable for Singapore have quite a healthy population in Australia and New Zealand. Many breeders there that are registered also conduct quite stringent health testing, so they do meet great standards for breeding dogs. I think we've also gotten a super great feedback loop from being able to go down and visit breeders in person, verifying what happens beyond just what is online. Yeah. In fact, if you download our app right now as part of our founding members program, we actually offer like a personal visit to your puppy before it comes home to you. Yeah. So, while that being said, we're not limited by breed or by region, more so by standards of a breeder. And as long as they do pass our verifications, we are always looking to onboard more great breeders on PupUp.
Amazing. So how does the process work for Singapore families looking to welcome a puppy from so far away?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think I recognize that it's very different from walking to a pet shop and picking a puppy up. You can go home and that's done, right? But I think this trade-off is extremely valuable when you realize that now owners have the peace of mind that we've done everything we can to ensure that your puppy is the healthiest it can be, right? So to start off, when owners look at our platform and look at breeds or breeders, they will be able to kind of catch up on the health testing requirements that are necessitated for each breed as they differ by breed. Yeah. Every litter that is listed has their full health testing documentation and also a transparent price guide. You might be like thinking, why a guide and not a fixed price? That's because that actually works in the favor of owners, because when there are multiple puppies traveling together, we actually pass on the transportation savings to owners directly. Yeah. Yeah, so when an owner, sees a puppy that they're interested in, they indicate their interest by filling up a detailed application form. So breeders use the information in this form to determine the best fit for a family and whether the breed might even be suitable for their lifestyle. So breeders usually at this point also arrange a call to better understand a family and, kind of give them more information regarding the breed itself. After all, breeders are the experts in the one breed or two breeds that they breed. Throughout the whole process, we are very much involved in this, and also families are very involved in a pup's journey. They get weekly updates through videos and photos. And although we handle all the logistics and paperwork, we do still want families to be very involved and ready for their new addition when they do come home.
Right.
Yeah. So from learning about a breed to getting ready for a puppy, PupUp is there throughout the whole journey, and we really want to be there for the whole dog ownership experience and not just at the start.
Amazing. Well, it looks like it doesn't stop there. It doesn't stop from just having the puppy home now. PupUp also provides ongoing support to new pet owners, like health guidance and milestone reminders. Walk us through how that works and why you felt it was so important to build that into the platform.
Yeah, I think, again, looking back on my journey with chorizo, when you bring home a puppy really is when the challenges start, right? That is when you go through the most trying but also fulfilling moments. And when I looked around me at that point, I really felt like there was a huge gap in support, and I was really on my own, right? So on PupUp, we built in timely reminders for vaccinations, checkups, and in the future also personalized recommendations based on every single puppy's individualized needs. The relationship that owners have built with their breeders also basically allows for them to get this continued guidance from an expert throughout their dog's life.
All right. Well, you've built a platform that uses tech not just for convenience, but to create an experience for pet lovers. How are you using tech, though, to change the way people acquire or bring dogs home?
Yeah, I love that you've described it as an experience, because I think that is what we meant for it to be. So we've built a transparent end-to-end platform that gives unprecedented visibility into a dog's journey, from even before a dog is born to when it takes its first steps, its first vet visit. We track everything: health records, genetic testing for both parents, vaccination schedules, and very key milestones. I think what's special here is that we're not just digitizing old ways. We have created a completely new pet acquisition experience that puts health, transparency, and support at the center. And I genuinely believe that this creates a more informed and confident pet parenting experience.
Amazing. Well, I'd love to hear a real-world example here. Maybe one of the first families that brought their puppy home through PupUp. What did that journey look like for them, and what kind of feedback have you heard so far?
Yeah, absolutely. This is my favorite part. We've actually shared this story on our Instagram, but it's the story of Jessica and her mini American Shepherd puppy, Bob. So Jessica had been looking for a dog for a couple of years, and she never really was able to find an ethical breeder on her own. After stumbling onto our platform, she actually had her eyes on another puppy, but the breeder had advised her against that puppy due to temperament and lifestyle mismatch. So, she was a bit apprehensive at first, but she decided to trust the breeder, and it turned out to be the perfect match with Bob. In fact, what's more amazing is that she actually flew all the way to New Zealand to meet little Bob, and in the process also met his parents and, other dogs as part of the kennel. Till this day, she tells me what a good match in terms of lifestyle that the breeder had made for her. And I think that is truly at the heart of what we do. So the most common feedback from families would really be the support and ongoing care that a breeder provides. Because I think, quite contrary to more point of sale kind of places, breeders are truly invested in how their puppies do, and they truly want their puppies to flourish no matter where they are. Yeah.
Well, on that note, if you'd like to send a message to some of the people who are looking to get a dog, why is it important for them to find an ethical breeder?
Yeah, I think this is a huge question, and a lot of people in Singapore might not know what entails ethical breeding. I think it's quite a foreign concept in Singapore. But, as with every puppy that you purchase and you choose to bring home, you really are choosing to either support ethical breeding or, a puppy mill that produces puppy for profit, and it ends there. So I think beyond the health issues that might arise, the unknown health issues that might arise, I think having a healthy, happy puppy that, will be by your side for the next 15 years is extremely, extremely fulfilling.
Yeah. Definitely. And finally, before we let you go here, Megan, what's next for PupUp? Are there any new plans on the horizon that you're especially excited about?
Oh, yeah. I mean, what I'm excited about is that tomorrow we have a little mini American Shepherd, Charlie, who's landing in Singapore. Yeah, I absolutely cannot wait for her to meet her family. But yeah, what's next for us really is more of these tomorrows, where we support families through their journeys to bring home their little happy, healthy puppies and do it again and again and again. Because, we can talk about the tech, we can talk about the big and the fun things, but I think the most important part will always be the happy and healthy puppies that we welcome home to Singapore.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Megan, for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Hongbin.
That was Megan Tan, who is a CEO and founder of PupUp. This has been The Right Business with me, Hongbin Jeong.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.